They stopped this motorcycle rider here. He wasn't wearing a helmet. He was taking the pedestrian crossing and he was planning to go there between all the pedestrians. He said, I'm just going there, but they've stopped him now. They'll ask to see the license and then issue him a ticket. He's already handed over the license, so they'll write out the ticket now. And you can see Attorney Lazada is just down the road from here. I think iACT are also having an operation today. From what I know, the iACT operation today is focusing on public utility vehicles. It could be jeepneys, buses, I think maybe even taxis, and making sure that the discounts were given for senior citizens, for students and things like that. I think that's what they're operating on today. So I'm actually not sure if this is just a coincidence that the operations collided or if there's something more to it. Anyway, let's see how this plays out. Oh, and if you're wondering what the operation is and why the chairman's here, they're going to be closing down more bus terminals today, especially around the Pasay area. Those bus terminals that aren't following the nose-in, nose-out policy, the ones that are causing so much traffic, you know, the ones that are driving like crazy, they're going to be closing down a lot of those terminals today.
Nandyan po yung terminal sharing, nandyan yung expired business permits, among others. Kaya yung mga dating in-inspect ng LTFRB na hindi naman dapat terminal, pero ginagawang terminal, yung hindi sapat yung facility nila to accommodate passengers.
Chairman, today we will send a letter po sa inyo kasi we will be requesting sana isama nyo sa Metro Manila Council na agenda before ang mga LGU magbigay ng permit po for a terminal na-inspect na sana namin certificate of compliance.
We will require certificate of
sana
compliance.
para ma-check na namin ang CR lahat kung hindi sa papasaran at least hindi sa bibigyan ng business permit.
MMC meeting bukas. Tama-tama. Pag-usapan niya. Gusto ko sa MMDA mag-concentrate tayo dyan.
Yes, sir. Okay. Itong lima na to, sir.
Yung City Hall sa mga permit for our mga requirements ng LTR.
And then we will check the buses. Baka may mga kulurong.
Okay. Ayun, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Kung meron, di ano natin. Tirahin na natin. Nandito naman ang HPG, sir. Kung may kolorum, tuluyan na natin.
So I think we're now approaching the first terminal to be closed today. Of course, this takes a lot of coordination. You have to work with the city government, local city government, their business permit licensing office. You have to bring in the LTFRB, you have the HPG just in case there's any issues. There's so many things involved in this. Another thing I forgot to mention is they also do reconnaissance, so they visit these terminals before they operate, they take photos, they monitor them. Are all the complaints from the public true? Are they really causing congestion and traffic? So yeah, there's a lot that goes into this. Right now they're asking for the drivers of these vehicles to come out. I think they're also checking the details to make sure all the franchises are in order. Is anything expired? Are they genuine? Because as I showed recently on my page, sometimes you'll find a taxi, it has all the markings, it has the thing on top, it has the meter inside, but actually when you run the plate, it's not even a registered vehicle, let alone franchised. There could be nothing wrong with these vehicles. Let me just say that I don't know, they haven't been checked yet, but they're just talking about doing that now. And you can see there's a lot of media here today because this is a big complaint from the public. The roads being clogged up by terminals that just do what they want. You know, they'll just block the road for 5 minutes to rearrange their buses and they don't worry about the effect on the public and other people using the road. So that's why there's so much media coverage here today. Oh, by the way, it wasn't a coincidence. iACT really did mean to join the operation today. They have 2 other operations in other areas with different teams. So that's where the confusion was for me. So they're now onto the second terminal. There were no buses in the first one. Let's see how this goes.
Ano to? Sir, smart bus to. Ito yung dati pinasama natin. So ito, bawal to. Yes, sir. Kasi yung ginagawa nila to, terminal sharing, which is also by permit nila.
You can see the LTFRB here. They have their laptop. That lets them immediately check the franchise to make sure if it's genuine. I'm not sure what this is, but they've just flagged over this vehicle. So it turns out they had a small bump with a motorcycle.
Dapat po nag-break muna kayo. Slow din ako eh. Nakababok mabilis po ako. Ako nasabit po. Kayo nga sumabit eh. Harapan na, likod na po. Ayun. Dapat po nag-break kayo. Alam, sabi nyo nga po, tabagan yung dapat. Nag-break na kayo.
The HPG are now asking to see the driver's license for the driver of the car and the driver of the motorcycle.
Dapat nga ho, nag-break na ho kayo kung nag-abagan.
Slow ako! Slow ako! Umiiwas ka sa mga kasabayan mo. Siksikan doon, no? Ang dami
Bakit tumama?
tumama sa akin. Tumama ako.
It looks like there's only very minor damage to the car, and I don't think there's really any damage to the motorcycle, so maybe they could just settle it with a sorry, let's move on. Anyway, I wanted to show you this vehicle that's been donated to the Philippines by Japan. You can see here it says from the people of Japan. This thing is incredible. This is being used by the Highway Patrol Group. Just look at this, how beautiful it is, and it's got the snorkel, it's got a 360 pan tilt zoom camera on the top. I'll show you some footage of that in a minute. It just looks incredible. This is the pan tilt zoom camera they've got installed. Sorry about the reflections. They've got the controls here so they can move it around. They can zoom in 360. Let's try. Oh, it's fast as well. Wow, look at this. And they said that they can record also, so they could use this for reconnaissance. Of course, you could use this from a long way away as well. This is incredible. This is such a nice vehicle. Let's see how far along here we can see. Even from a distance, the quality is great. Sorry about the reflections. Let's go quite far. Yeah, you can still read that plate on the bus from far away. Probably not in my video because of the reflections, but that's incredible. If you look at the front here, it's got a nice winch. This is the driver, so Francia. It's got dash cam installed. It's just incredible. Such a nice vehicle. And I'm not sure how well you can see because of reflections, but they've got like rescue gear in the back of here, life vests, raincoats, a high-powered flashlight. They've got a medical kit. I don't know if all of that was donated as well, but this is incredible. Of course, it doesn't have a plate yet because it's a brand new vehicle. But yeah, Montero Sport looks incredible. Over here, they're installing barriers now to close this off. It looks like the AFP have blocked in some buses here, so they'll be able to maybe have a more proactive look at this terminal. So you can see the LTFRB are moving in now. They're going to verify that everything's okay with the franchises on these vehicles. So director of HPG, the HPG have a very good reputation right now. Strict enforcement, no monkey business. So I think right now HPG, everyone's happy with them. But what's the priorities of the HPG?
For HPG priority, actually we work on anti-carnapping, anti-hijacking, and we support the iACT for the operation in maintaining the traffic situation or how to ease the traffic problems in the metropolis. Yeah, because the problem of traffic, this is not only the problem with MMDA or the local government or the PNP, but this is the problem that needs the whole of government approach. So yes, everyone has worked together, coordinate the work so that we will be able to ease up, if not solve the problem with traffic.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So General Almadin was just telling me that this bus is actually out of line. It's meant to be in Cubao somewhere. So what they're doing now is unloading the passengers. They're going to move them to another bus, and then they're actually going to impound this one. Attorney Lozada, what's going on with this bus here?
While this bus has a franchise, it is out of line, meaning to say this bus should be picking up passengers in Cubao. So if you are not in your designated route, designated pick-up station, that you're considered out of line, and if you are out of line, you are color room. We need to instill discipline among bus operators because there are also other buses here with legitimate franchises, with legitimate terminals, and they are not out of line. So just stay where you're supposed to stay.
And I guess you have data that says how many buses should be on each route and so on. Yes. So if they're hitting other routes, it could have an effect.
And that's where cutthroat competition comes in, and we don't like that.
And what's the penalty for that?
1 million.
1 million pesos.
Fine and 3 months impounding.
3 months impounding. Okay, thank you. What's the reason behind this?
Well, mainly as far as MMDA is concerned, those who cannot comply, those terminals cannot comply to the nose-in, nose-out policy of the MMDA will be closed. Now, there are other reasons for closing a terminal, like lack of clearances and the necessary business permit from the Business and Permit Licensing Office of the local government unit. These are outside of MMDA's concern. As you have noticed, we have closed several terminals before for lack of business permits, but they have, most of them have opened again because they have complied to the requirements of the local government units. But as far as nose-in, nose-out policy is concerned, this is purely the province of MMDA. So those who cannot comply to our requirements, to the requirements of the laws, they will be closed.
Okay. So if you look at this terminal here, there's only one way in, this front entrance. There's no back door. So the only way for a bus to get like this is to go like that and then reverse in, because there's no way there's enough space in there to actually turn the bus around. So for sure that's a nose in, nose out violation. And the problem with that is the bus comes along, it has to reverse in, it congests the whole road because everyone has to wait. You've seen viral videos of this where there's so much traffic because the buses are reversing in. So this is the kind of thing they're really combating.